So we have graphing from a table here, and I noticed as I'm asking you to graph things that there are some misconceptions on how to graph. All right, and we have to focus on the appropriate level of precision that you have when you're graphing, especially when we're looking to see if lines are straight and trying to see if something's proportional. We have to we have to be accurate enough to see if something's actually straight and to see if something actually crosses through the origin. If our lines are all wobbly and our numbers aren't spaced out the right way, we're not going to get accurate results from all the work we're putting in. All right. So our first step is to just find the space that we'll be using. All right. And that depends on kind of what the numbers have to go up to. And I just kind of arbitrarily chose this space here. Okay. When you're constrained by space, it will determine kind of the intervals and how much you can count up by to get up to the maximum numbers you need. If I had all this space over here, I could spread my intervals out a little bit more, or make them smaller intervals so I could get, because I have space for more. Anyway, maybe that'll become clearer later. But next, after we kind of determine our space, we're going to have to determine which of these variables is going to go on which axis. All right. And this will make more sense to you as you go through it, but typically in tables, the top is the X and the bottom is the Y. If you're not quite sure, you have to then think about independent variables and dependent variables. All right. You have to think about what is dependent on the other. Is the cost dependent on how many tickets you buy? All right, so do you go up to the cashier and say, here's $60, give me as many tickets as I can get for that? Not typically, right? Typically you go up and say, I'd like 4 tickets. How much is that going to be? Right? The cost depends on how many tickets you want. So that's another little thinking process that you have to get better at, or improve at, or get solid with. Okay, this independent variable always goes on your x-axis, your horizontal axis. All right, so this is going to be your number of tickets. So that's a very important step, is determining which axis you're going to put your variables on. So this is going to be the cost, total cost for the tickets, since that's dependent. All right, dependent is your vertical axis, independent is your horizontal axis. Next step is to examine the numbers and compare that to how much space you have. All right, so see the space here, this line, this y-axis. Well, I'm going to have to fit up to 340 on there. All right, so and I can't just do this. This is what a lot of us did. We know that this is 0 and 0 there. A lot of us just put this. Okay, 100, 190, 264, 316. You just listed the numbers that were in the table. All right, that's incorrect, because look, the intervals aren't equal. This interval from 0 to 100, that's a change of 100. This goes up only 90. All right, this goes up 74. All right, they're all changing, and that's going to distort our graph. So what we have to do instead is look at our maximum number here, 340. Look at how much space we have, and then try to figure out what interval is going to get us there. So I might think, oh, let's go like this. Here's another little tip. Use the lines to help you evenly space if you're using lined paper here like this, which you will be a lot. Okay, so let's say I say, oh, let's go up by 20s. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. Oh, it doesn't fit. I need to make my intervals bigger. I got to jump up there faster. So maybe 50s will work, okay? So you try it. 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350. Aha, there you go. And look how evenly these lines are spaced out together. Okay? If you want to go with more intervals and more accuracy, you could cut that in half. All right? And try to label those as well, if you're good at drawing really small. All right, so now we can fit these, we can graph these numbers, and we have the important equal intervals on that y-axis. Now let's focus on our x-axis here. All right, we need to go from 0 up to 20. Okay, so our intervals can be pretty small, and I want to make my, however big I make that first interval, okay, everyone has to be fairly similar to that. So just take your time, right? If I mess up, then I'm just going to take my time and erase it and try to be a little bit more accurate. All right, it's not going to be perfect. We're freehanding this. We don't have rulers, although you're welcome to grab a ruler if you want. And let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. Let's go 9 spaces, and I have to get up to 20. Maybe I notice I have a little more space over here. If I do 10 spaces, 10 spaces, then I know that to get up to 20, I could do by 2s. So it'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. All right. So this will fit my data. If I want to get my 1s in there, I can accurately cut these all in half. Oops. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's an appropriate level of precision. All right, so now I'm ready to graph. All right, we don't have lines going vertically, so it'll be hard, and we don't have these exact numbers on our graph, on our y-axis. So we have to kind of estimate, all right? But if we're accurate, as accurate as I've been so far, at least you'll give yourself a shot, okay? So 4 and 100. Well, that one, at least I have that line to help me out, all right? Then 8, 190, 8, 190. I'm just gonna put like a little light dot at 200. This is gonna be 50, okay? And I'm thinking, okay, well then it's going to be maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 90 would be right there. Okay, I just kind of break it up in my mind so I can be as accurate as possible. All right, now we have 12 and 264. So 12 and 264. There's 250. There's 300. Is that straight up? Yes. And right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 260 would be right up there. 264 might be a little bit above that. All right. And now I got 16 and 316. So 16 and 316. So there's 300. 316 is going to be just a little bit up there. Okay, and then 20 and 340, 20 and 340, so 20 and 350 is here. I'm going to go a fifth of the way down. Okay, now I've been fairly accurate, and I can see, if I get a straight edge here, I'll just get a piece of paper. Okay, just get a piece of paper, that's a straight line there. If I hold it up there, I can obviously see that they're not a straight line. If I did draw a straight line, see, those other points wouldn't work. Now I can see that clearly now because I was so accurate. All right, so that's what I expect. Don't forget equal intervals, and that's based off of the space you have and the maximum number you have to go up to. All right, I hope that helps and clears up some things. Thanks for listening. Good luck.